Welcome to the pbvU Plus Distance Learning Certification course, Level 1. We wanted to start this launch by saying thank you. Thank you for all you do for your students. There are so many ways you could choose to spend your time, and the fact that you are choosing to spend some of it developing your craft as an educator in the area of distance learning speaks volumes. When we know better, we do better. And when we do better as educators, student achievement is positively affected. You are truly leading with learning and putting students first. We look forward to growing with you through the challenges you may encounter and celebrating your success along the way. We'd like to take a moment to introduce you to our distance learning team. Dr. Jason Hodgson, the Director of Professional Development, Shelley Tiffin, the Instructional Services Coordinator for pbvU, Shannon Zimmerman, the Distance Learning TOSA, Hans Tolman, myself, Distance Learning TOSA, and Jill Fetters, our Distance Learning TOSA. We are here to support you in your day-to-day implementations of distance learning. If you need to problem solve Canvas or to build an asynchronous lesson plan that supports small groups, we are here to work with you, your teams, and your sites. Please do not hesitate to reach out. Now let's take a look at the objectives for this launch. By the end of this session, participants will understand the distance learning pillars, know how to navigate the distance learning certification Canvas course structure, understand how to obtain distance learning certification, understand the basic structure of the course, know what to expect during a boost and showcase session. If we conclude this session and you still have questions regarding these, please ask. And speaking of questions, we've prepared a Q&A document where we would like all participants to place their inquiries. This document will be open for questions and responses for this course starting today. It is also located in the Before You Begin module, which we will review in a moment. But let's walk through how the Q&A document works. So I'm going to open this up. At the top of the page, participants should notice the instructions on how to tag their facilitator in a comment. The directions are here in case we forget, but let me model this now. As we scroll down the Q&A document, we see some frequently asked questions from previous courses, specifically related to the start of the course. Be sure to read through them. Now let's find ourselves an empty row. We will type the date, our name, and our question. Then we will put the facilitator name next to it. Let's say my facilitator is Troy. The last step is to highlight the facilitator's name. So I'm going to highlight his name, and notice how this little bubble with a comment icon pops up on the right. I'm going to go ahead and click on that plus sign, and this will give me the option to assign this question to a facilitator. So I'm going to click the plus sign and type Troy's name, and there he is. And then I can assign it to him so he gets an email notification letting him know that I have a question. And then I'll click assign. Okay, let's head back to the presentation. The pbvU Plus certification courses are structured differently than traditional pbvU courses, as we can see in this model. This distance learning certification course spans for 4 weeks versus the traditional 8-week courses. They include 2 mandatory synchronous Zoom sessions. Attendance is required for course completion. In regards to content, participants are to work at their own pace through the content and tasks. Before You Begin module is due at the end of the first week. If not completed, participants will be dropped from the course. All other coursework is due on the last day of the learning cycle. Let's look at the courses now through the lens of asynchronous and synchronous For asynchronous learning, pbvUSD distance learning certification courses are offered. Content and tasks are provided for each of the 3 modules. Learning and implementations are to be completed for a showcase. For synchronous, participation in a boost session is required. Participation in a showcase session is also required. Synchronous sessions will contain large and small group components. Facilitators for the course will communicate office hours for further support. The distance learning certification courses are all built on 3 pillars of distance learning. Participants will encounter elements of each pillar in each course with increasing depth and rigor across the levels. The first pillar is communication and connection. Communication and connection are important parts of the educational process and environment. They help teachers to establish and maintain relationships with students and families. With distance learning, these elements are even more important for maintaining relationships and communicating resources and learning expectations with our students. The second pillar is distance learning management. Having a deep understanding of learning management allows teachers to successfully provide resources and learning opportunities to students. Teachers should use the district-provided systems and programs to create and organize learning opportunities, develop instruction and support, and share and/or collect student materials demonstrating their independent learning. The third pillar is student engagement. While students participate in asynchronous learning outside of the traditional classroom, teachers should work to create engaging learning activities and environments. We create engaged learners when we consider and incorporate emotional, cognitive, and behavioral engagement in our distance learning environment. For each level of distance learning certification, there is a syllabus. It is located in the Before You Begin module in Canvas. Let's take a quick look at it. I'm going to click on our syllabus for level 1. What we want to highlight here is there is a clickable bookmark section at the top which will help us navigate quickly to the component we'd like to view. Now let's take a look at how this works. So I'm going to click over to Expectations of Participants and click on that little pop-up below, and now I'm there. Here are the Expectations of Participants section. Please review this section in detail. If you are unable to meet these expectations, please notify pbvU immediately. Reading all the syllabus all the way through is an assignment in the Before You Begin module, so we will not take the time to do that now. The distance learning certification courses in Canvas incorporate all of these elements: the homepage, syllabus, modules, and a showcase. Now let's jump over to Canvas to take a look at the course. Here is the Distance Learning Certification Level 1 homepage. Here on the homepage, participants will find all of the information they need for the course, including links to the content, facilitator contact information, the Q&A document link, and links for office hours and synchronous sessions. You can find the syllabus on the left-hand side in the navigation menu. When I click on it, you will see a timeline that will show you important dates and events that are happening throughout the 4 weeks. Below that, you will find a copy of your Level 1 syllabus that you can look through at your leisure. At the bottom, you will see a suggested course summary of assignments to complete during your course. As we move to modules, you'll be able to find those either by going to the home page and clicking on Before You Start, 1.1, 1.2, or 1.3. Or you can also click on Modules in the navigation menu on the left. Let's take a look at the Before You Begin module. These items in this module are all due by the end of the first week of the cycle. If these are not completed by the deadline, participants will be dropped from the course. Each item must be completed in order. Scrolling down, we can see modules and the content they contain. Each module is a prerequisite for the next module. In other words, participants must complete the modules and the assignments inside of the modules in consecutive order. Participants will not be able to access content until all the previous content has been viewed. When working through the modules, participants will find some of the content embedded in Google Slides. We want to show you how to expand the slides so they are large enough to read and don't skip around on the page. Let's start by going to 1.1a. At the top you have instructions. As you scroll down to the bottom of the slides, you will see a play button. You'll also see a next button. Now notice how when I click that next button, it jumps around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this full screen icon. So it takes up my full screen. Then when I click the next button, I can then view all of the content there. While you're here, you're going to want to make sure that you click to read or listen to articles and videos, so keep an eye out for links along the way. To leave, I can click this button again or exit full screen by hitting escape. Each module contains tasks to be completed. For example, these tasks, let's go to task number 2. These tasks do not contain a place to submit. All evidence will be placed on the showcase slides in the showcase module that will be submitted at the end of the course. However, a preview of that slide is located at the end of each module. Now let's go and look at that now. I'm going to scroll all the way down to module 1.3. And I see the module 1.3 evidence slide for showcase, so I'm going to click on that. Notice the directions. Below is the single slide from the showcase slides where all evidence from module 1.3 should be linked or embedded. You may choose from the following options. Complete now. Make a copy of this slide for yourself by clicking here or on the image below. The link will force a copy of the slide. Then embed or link all task evidence from the module 1.3 now. Finally, when you have completed the course and have access to the final showcase slides, the assignment to be submitted, copy and replace the 1.3 evidence slide with the one you make now. So that's the first option, or you can complete the course. You can complete when coursework is done. Do nothing with this slide and wait until you have completed the course and have access to the final showcase slides. Link and embed all evidence from module 1.3 then. So this is an example of the slide. This is where you're going to be posting a culminating video and embed it within that slide. And that slide will be added to your final showcase. Now, let's jump down into that final showcase, and I'm going to see this at the very end, showcase slides. So these are the final showcase slides that will be presented during the showcase event and submitted for evidence of course completion. Remember the following. If you have made a copy of each evidence slide in the course, linking and embedded evidence along the way, those slides will need to be copied and pasted to replace the ones provided in this assignment. If you choose to wait until course completion and for this slide deck to embed and link all evidence for the course, you will need to do so now. For the showcase event, you will need to attend and participate in one showcase event during week 4. Before the event, complete slides, all these that are mentioned here, completed prior to the showcase event with all links and videos embedded. Be prepared to answer the question, what was the biggest success and why? During the event, provide peer feedback to those presenting and record peered feedback during your presentation. Participant in discussion on the question, what was your biggest success and why? After the event, be sure slides listed here are complete. Finalize the presentation and submit below here. All right, so those were the directions. Now let's open up this slide and take a look. This is our showcase. So notice on slide 1, participants will enter their personal information. The first section of the slides is evidence. Slide 3 is where the participants place evidence from module 1. If participants copied and completed the slide at the time of completing level 1, then they can copy and replace this slide with that one. If not, they will need to link all Module 1 evidence now. Also, please notice the notes at the bottom of each slide. Slide 4 will be completed during the showcase presentation as participants collect feedback from their peers. Notice that slide 5 is hidden because it will not be presented during the showcase. It does need to be completed, however, after the showcase and before submission. Participants will now repeat this process for modules 2 and 3. For slide 6 is evidence, slide 7 is feedback, and then you have slide 8 on the reflection on that feedback. And moving on to section 2, participants are analyzing their learning and implementations over the course. These slides 13 through 16, should be completed prior to the showcase and presented. The same is true of section 3. So that's an overview of the Canvas course and its organization. Let's head back to our presentation. Remember, there are 2 mandatory synchronous events as part of this course. Here's a general overview of what to expect during a boost session. We'd like to highlight that there are questions for discussion during these sessions. Participants should look at them in advance to be prepared to participate. Here's a little more of what the boost session will look like. Although these sessions are 2 hours long, time passes quickly as participants engage in both small and large group activities. And the culmination of a participant's learning in this course happens during the showcase. During this session, participants share their accomplishments, their challenges, and takeaways while receiving feedback from peers and an opportunity to reflect on it all. This is a general overview of what to expect during the showcase. Feel free to pause to read this in completion. As we get ready to conclude this launch, we want to let you in on a little secret. Participants who experience the highest levels of success and deepest levels of learning are the ones who find 2 to 3 other participants to collaborate with during these sessions. If you do not know of any other participants or who may be in your grade level, please reach out to your facilitator and they can help connect you. Now that you've gone through this launch, just a reminder, place any questions that come up during our time together in the question and answer document. Don't forget to tag your facilitator when you do. Well, that's all we have for you now. Thank you so much for watching, and we wish you the best on your distance learning certification journey.